Hello, everyone, and welcome to this special Facebook Live event, Get Cash for College. While we wait for some more people to get the live stream pulled up on their computers or phones, I'd like to take an opportunity to get to know all of you a little bit better. So on your Facebook Live feed, you'll see a comments section. In that comment section, I'd like for you to write where you're from so that we can start to get an idea of where everybody is. One quick housekeeping note while everyone fills out the comment section, letting me know where they're from. If you have any questions that you'd like answered, please go ahead and type those into the same comment box that you're letting us know where you're from. We'll keep an eye on this and try to answer all of your questions. We'll also have time for a little Q&A after the presentation is complete. While you continue to fill out the poll, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Colby Leopard. I'm the Advocacy Coordinator at Alabama Possible. It's my job to help connect students to education after they graduate high school. A big part of that is helping students navigate securing financial aid to pay for college, which is what tonight is all about. I'm also joined by my colleague, Sarah Bright, who is the College Access and Success Programs Coordinator at Alabama Possible. Sarah has an important message for everybody about some FAFSA training that we have coming up next week. Sarah, take it away.
Hey everybody, so tonight we're going to be going over the FAFSA, but we want to acknowledge that every family is unique and different, and you may have some specific questions. So just want to let you know that we're here for you to answer those. And next week on October the 25th at 7 p.m., I'm going to be hosting an Ask Me Anything. So you can find us on Instagram at Cash for College AL. So get your questions ready, and I will be preparing to answer them.
Thanks so much, Sarah. I'm seeing everybody responding on the comment section: Phoenix City, Oak Mountain, Hoover, Skyline High School. Thanks everybody for participating in that. It's exciting to see so many people from around the state participating in this unique opportunity tonight. Now I'd like to introduce you to the star of the show, Lane Chapman. Lane is the Manager of Outreach and Work Study Programs in the Office of Financial Aid at the University of Alabama at Birmingham. Lane is an expert in financial aid and will be taking us through today's presentation on how to get cash for college. So without any further ado, Lane Chapman.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning in tonight to our FAFSA information and FAFSA overview. Again, my name's Lane, and I work with the Financial Aid Office at UAB, so I'm glad to have you all joining us tonight. Tonight we'll be going through a brief overview of the FAFSA, which is the free application for federal student aid. This is through the federal government, so you'll go onto the governmental website to submit the FAFSA each year you're attending college. Just some fast facts about the FAFSA. Something that you may not know quite yet is that the Pell Grant can be used to pay for your education after high school. As a grant, you do not have to pay this back. So this is great money for you to use while you're attending college. Most seniors in the state of Alabama do qualify for a Pell Grant, so it's very likely that you may be eligible for the Pell Grant as you're looking to go off to college. This upcoming year, for the 2019-2020 school year, the maximum Pell Grant that you can receive is about $6,200. And typically that Pell Grant amount goes up a little bit each year. So it's going up for next year, which is great, at that $6,195. So you can see, with the help of federal financial aid, making college affordable is something that you can do. So you can see here the average cost of tuition per year is about, for a two-year college in Alabama, is about $5,781. So if you're receiving that full Pell Grant, there's a good chance that you may be able to cover all of your tuition depending on what school you're looking to attend next year. The FAFSA is an extremely important part of the college admissions process. And as you can see here, 9 out of 10 students who complete the FAFSA enroll in college the following fall. So again, an important part of the college process. During tonight's, the rest of tonight's presentation, we'll hit on 4 kind of key areas that you can see here. First, we'll look at what you need to get ready so that you're ready to file your FAFSA electronically. We'll also look at how to go about filing your FAFSA as well. Next, we'll look at tips and some frequently asked questions that you may have. And then finally, we'll make sure that you have all the resources you need to make sure that this process is a simple one for you. And again, at the end, we'll be happy to answer any questions that you may think of throughout the presentation. So I hope you're ready to get some more information and file your FAFSA. So typically the FAFSA takes less than 30 minutes to complete, so it's a simple process. And one way to make that even more simple is to make sure you have all the information ahead of time that you may need when completing the FAFSA. You can see here on the screen a few different things that are helpful to have on hand to make that process even smoother. So social security number, your dates of birth, your tax information. For the 2019-2020 school year, you'll actually be using your 2017 tax information. So that's the information you'll want to have on hand as you're filling out the FAFSA. Now, of course, these aren't all required, but if these are relevant to you, we do encourage you to have them on hand. So again, that makes the FAFSA filing process as simple as possible for you. If you're filing the FAFSA electronically, which is the way that most people will file, it is important that you have an FSA ID. The FAFSA uses this FSA ID as a username and password for you to log in onto the FAFSA, complete all of your information, and to sign and electronically submit your FAFSA. One important thing to keep in mind is that as a student, you need to have an FSA ID, but parents, you also will need an FSA ID, a unique username and password to sign your portion of the FAFSA. Make sure you keep this information handy as it sometimes is difficult to retrieve if you lose it. To go about getting a FAFSA or FSA ID, you can just go right onto the FAFSA website, fsaid.ed.gov, and you can see here it will guide you through creating an FSA ID. It takes just a couple of minutes to do this, and once you have it created, you're ready to file your FAFSA. So getting the process started, there are two ways for you to file your FAFSA electronically. You can see those here on the screen. The first is the traditional way, which is online on a computer at fafsa.gov, FAFSA.gov. Also, we've just launched a My Student Aid app. This is an app through the federal government that you can use to submit your FAFSA on a mobile device. This app is available through Android and Apple, so it's great for any device. Of course, if you cannot submit the FAFSA online or electronically, you can always request and file a paper FAFSA. So you can definitely look into that if that works best for you. Now, the FAFSA will guide you through each of the 7 sections that you see listed here. Throughout the FAFSA, you'll provide information about yourself and your parents, and then you'll sign and submit it and send it off to any schools that you're looking to attend or that you're interested in. You can actually select up to 10 schools to send your FAFSA information to. Now, when you visit fafsa.gov, this is the first screen that you'll see when you're trying to log into your FAFSA. This is where you're requested to enter in your FSA ID, your username, and your password. Now you can see on this screen, there are 2 different tabs that you'll use to log in. So make sure students that you're signing into the student portion of the FAFSA, and parents you're signing into the parent portion of the FAFSA. Once you've gone in to start your FAFSA, you can always stop it at any time and log back in at a later time to complete it or update it at any point. Throughout the FAFSA, you'll see these helpful tips that will give you more information about the questions that you're answering throughout the FAFSA. These are tips and reminders and will guide you through so that you answer all the questions correctly on the FAFSA. The page you see here is the page where you'll add in any schools that you're interested in sending your FAFSA information to. Again, you can send your FAFSA up to 10 schools. On the FAFSA, many students wonder if they will be considered an independent or a dependent student for financial aid purposes. For most students, especially those coming out of high school, you will be considered a dependent student for financial aid. Again, most students will be considered dependent. At any time, though, if you have questions on the FAFSA, you can see the question circle. You can click that, and that will give you additional information about the questions you're answering at that time. The great news is that the FAFSA truly does work with you, and it determines a lot of the information for you. So you can see here for this student, they are considered a dependent student, but again, the FAFSA determined that for them. As a dependent student, you do need to submit your parents' information, both their personal information and financial information. You can see this page here will request information about your household size. The FAFSA will do a lot of the calculating for you, but your household size and the number of students enrolled in college does have a large factor in determining your expected family contribution, which is what is used to determine what type of aid you may be eligible for. This information is also often checked through a process called verification that we'll mention a lot throughout the presentation tonight. And the process of verification just ensures that everything you've submitted is accurate, and most importantly, that you're receiving the full aid that you may be eligible for. The last set of information that you'll need to enter before you sign and submit your FAFSA is your parent information. This is your financial information. This financial information is for both the parent and the student. You can see at the bottom of this screen, there's an option to use the IRS data retrieval tool. Again, I mentioned earlier that the FAFSA only takes about 30 minutes to submit in all, but the IRS data retrieval tool can make that an even shorter period of time. What this does is it pulls your tax information directly from the IRS. It's the fastest way to enter in all of your information, and it helps cut down on those mistakes that are easy to make when you're typing in on a computer or on a mobile device. And of course, this definitely makes the verification process even easier if you are selected for verification. Easy as pie is what we're hoping it will be. So looking at some tips for filing your FAFSA as you're going through and submitting all of your information. So you've seen a sneak peek, but what are some other things that you may need to keep in mind? The biggest thing to keep in mind is that the application for financial aid for the 2019-2020 school year is already open. It opened up on October 1st of this year. We definitely encourage you to submit the FAFSA as early as possible. The earlier you submit it, the more aid you may be eligible for. Some schools, depending on where you're going, may have different types of aid, both grants, loans, things of that nature, that may be available on a first-come, first-served basis. So we want you to make sure that you don't miss out on any aid you may be eligible for. So it's definitely important to file the FAFSA early. Now, what information is used on the FAFSA? As you can see, as we saw earlier, your family's income information is used to determine what type of federal financial aid you may be eligible for. The FAFSA will use this information to calculate what's called an EFC, or expected family contribution. This will be used to determine what type of need-based aid you may be eligible for, but the FAFSA also puts you into consideration for non-need-based aid as well. And again, pro tip is to use that IRS data retrieval tool, which makes pulling your tax information very quick and easy, and of course, accurate. as we mentioned earlier, most students will need to provide their parent information. The biggest thing to keep in mind here is that you'll be required to enter in the information of your biological or adoptive parents. Now, we know that each family is unique, so a couple of situations that maybe your family may be in. If your parents are divorced, then you will provide the information for the parent with whom you've lived the most with over the past 12 months. So again, if your parents are divorced, the one that you live the most with is the parent that you'll provide the information for. If your parent is remarried, then your family must include your step-parents' information as well. Now this is, you'll include your step-parents' information even if they may not be contributing directly to your college education. Some other what-if scenarios. We know that some of you may not be living with your parents. You may be living with grandparents or other family members or friends. You still will be required in most cases to submit your biological or adoptive parents' information. So it doesn't matter who claims you on your taxes or things of that nature. It matters who your biological or adoptive parents are. So now that you've completed the FAFSA and you've filed your FAFSA, what are the steps that take place at that time? So after you've filled out your FAFSA, the Department of Education will receive that and process that within about 3 to 5 days. You as the student will receive a student aid report. And when you receive that report, you'll be able to go in and see all the information that you've submitted on the FAFSA. Make sure that you review this information carefully, and of course you can always go in and make any corrections needed. You just log right back into the FAFSA using your FSA ID username and password and make those corrections online or on your mobile device. The financial aid office for the school that you're interested in attending will make sure to reach out to you if any additional information is needed. I always encourage students and parents to check your personal email as well as your school email and student portals if you have access to those already to see if any additional information is needed. That is the best way for colleges and universities to reach out to you to let you know the information they may need. Making corrections and providing additional information is normal. Many times this process is called verification. Verification, students are selected randomly for verification, and about 1 in 3 students are selected for this process. So we want you to make sure that you are ready if you're selected for verification. Again, this helps both you as a student and the school that you're attending make sure all of your information is correct, and most importantly, that you receive the full aid and funds that you may be eligible for. Of course, college is for everyone. We hope that tonight's presentation is about connecting you to financial aid. We hope that it simplified the financial aid process for you so that you and your friends can get cash for college.
Thanks so much, Lane. And sorry, everyone, for the technical difficulties we were having there. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but we're back live, and at least this will be on our page so that you can see it the end of the presentation at your own time. Again, thank you to Lane. It's really helpful to have you simplify financial aid in the way that you did tonight. As a reminder to everyone, we do have time for Q&A, so if you have any questions, please go ahead and put those down in the comments section. While you drop those questions in the comments section, I'd also like to remind everyone that next Thursday at 7 p.m., we will be hosting a live Ask Me Anything on our Instagram account. You can find us on Instagram at Cash for College AL. This is an opportunity for us to answer any questions you have after you begin to complete the FAFSA. In addition to this resource, you can also find lots of helpful information on completing the FAFSA on our website, cashforcollegealabama.org. I just posted a link to our website in the comments section on this live stream as well. So please utilize that. Lastly, this video will continue to live on our Facebook page after the live event ends. We're also going to post this recording to our Alabama Possible YouTube channel. Again, you can find that by going to YouTube and searching Alabama Possible. please share this video with your friends at school to help them get cash for college too. Okay, let's jump over to questions. What are the income limits for the full FAFSA? Is our first question.
So each student, when they submit their FAFSA information and their income information, it will be different student to student. So each student's expected family contribution, or EFC, will be different. So it's about a 2-page formula, and it takes quite a while to do that by hand. So thankfully we don't have to do that, but it will just depend on your specific information.
Okay, thank you, Lane. All right, let's just give it a little bit longer, see if we have any other questions. Any additional questions from anyone? Okay, well, in that case, you see here that we have our email address and website available. You can also call us at any point in time. We're happy to answer any questions about the FAFSA. We're truly a resource for you here in this process. So please feel free to utilize us in that way. And on that note, I'd like to say thank you to everyone and wish you a good night. And I look forward to seeing you next time.